Good evening, everybody. I am Lee Seiler, also known as the Stock Doctor. Thanks for joining on the Hump Day Market Update, and brought to you by Fuel Barbecue in Sanford. I don't think they know they brought this program, but guess what? I'm doing it because they're friends of mine, because the restaurants are open. Holy smokes. I ate lunch today in a restaurant. It's the first time in like a month and a half. Unbelievable. I happened to eat lunch at Cafe Murano. Incredible, as usual. So check out Fuel Barbecue, Cafe Murano. The Post Time's opening up. Dexter's opening up this week. So all good stuff. But thanks for joining, and we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about tonight because, we had a fantastic month of April. I mean, the month of March was an absolute abomination, all right? Everybody was going to jump off buildings, and, the sun went to their eyes, pebbles in their shoe, every excuse in the book, and this little thing called the coronavirus. But I'm not so worried about COVID-19. I'm worried about COVID-20, all right? If this thing comes back, which who knows? And again, we don't know. No one knows. And as I've mentioned many times, I'm not an epidemiologist. Now, keep in mind, I did go through 6 years of financial education. Okay? 6 years. Not really. It was really physical education. That's what I majored in. No, I'm kidding, but seriously. You hear those guys? Yeah, I majored in physical education. It took me 8 years to graduate. That's funny stuff. Anyway, so the month of April was great. The month of May has started off a little bit ragged, okay? It's like everybody's hair and nails because guess what? Phase 1 did not include our friends from the spas and the salons, and my neck has been killing me. I've had, if anybody knows me, I've had many orthopedic surgeries, 2 neck, 2 back, a leg, and my neck is freaking killing me, and I can't get a massage, can't get an adjustment, but luckily, tomorrow I get to go, and you know what, Dana? I got to get the name of the company. Hey, look up Dana Dombrowskis' company, a physical therapy company in Lake Mary. Will you please, Nikki? It's Transition something, I think. I'm sorry, I should know this, but I'm going to go tomorrow. She's going to help me out. But anyway, so far, month of May has not started out that great. The S&P 500 down 3%, all right? The S&P 500 down 3% in a week. Not the month of May. What I'm talking about, a week since my last program, which was last Wednesday, so we're down 3% on the S&P. The Dow is down 3.9. Okay, the Dow, keep in mind, 30 components. 30. The NASDAQ, down 0.6. You know why? Because the NASDAQ's biggest positions, Apple and Microsoft. What has kept the rest of the averages up? Apple and Microsoft. Believe it or not, Apple hit 300 today. The all-time high on Apple, 330, plus or minus a couple points. I mean, I can certainly look. I don't want to bother and waste time doing that. We know it's around 330. A stock we own, we love. I've owned it for many years. Love it. Own it as low as 40, believe it or not. 300. And this is on the heels of Goldman Sachs, whom I really appreciate and I respect. But here's what I really respect about Goldman Sachs. They made a call. They made a freaking call. They weren't milquetoast, all right? It drives me crazy when an analyst comes out and says, we're going to initiate coverage on XYZ with an average weight. Or, we're going to initiate coverage on ABC with a hold. Hey, wait for, going out there and taking a risk, okay? But Goldman Sachs went out and said, you know what? We don't like Apple here. We'd sell it. It's gone up since then. Doesn't mean they're wrong. All right. I mean, Apple will go down from here at some point. It's not going to go to 350 via 300. It's probably going to go 350 via 250. Look, I think the market being down this so far at the beginning of this month is a good thing. Because first of all, there's no way in hell, no way that the market will be back at the February all-time highs anytime soon. I really don't see that. And we're significantly away from that. I mean, we are 5,000 points on the Dow away from that. I'm giving you real numbers. And here's the thing, and here's why. Because the earnings suck. What moves and drives stocks and companies is earnings, profits, sales, revenues, okay? Here's to you. On the day after Cinco de Mayo, which was probably the most boring Cinco de Mayo in the history of Cinco de Mayos. I never go out Cinco de Mayo anyway because I could give a good shit less. It's amateur night to me, and I'm a pro, so wouldn't do that. But things like stocks like Apple, Microsoft really been carrying the weight. Amazon even took a hit over the last couple of weeks. It's rebounded a little bit today. That carried the markets a little bit. So the NASDAQ was up today, and I'll give you what the numbers were actually for today, because you guys do want to know that. The Dow Jones down, actually after opening up, which is an ominous sign, closed down 218 points at 23,664. Then the S&P 500 down 20, which is 0.7% at 2848. The NASDAQ Composite, get this, up 45 points, 0.5% at 8854. Apple up 3 to close at $363. Let's take a look at Microsoft. Intel's been a hidden secret too. Microsoft closed up $1.78, almost 1% at 182.54. Intel has been really having a good run of it here over the last 2 months since the March 23rd lows. Intel up 76 cents at 59.18. So we're seeing some interesting things. But what we're seeing that's not so interesting is regarded as the world's greatest investor, Warren Buffett. He has put the ixnay on the airlines A. All right? Done. He dumped all his airlines. He doesn't see that there's enough. And look, first of all, for Warren Buffett to sell something, you really have to be an absolute disaster. Warren Buffett, because he's so good at research and they're so good at what they do, buying value. Remember, he's a value investor. And buying value means that the sum of the parts are greater than the whole. You may have a company out there say, hey, you could buy us for $5,000. Whatever. It's a landscaping company. You can buy us for $5,000. Okay, but what is that landscaping company truly worth? What's the intrinsic value? Well, they have 4 lawnmowers, 3 blowers, 5 weed whackers, garden tools, shovels. Shit, I could sell this on the open market and it's worth $10,000. That's my point. Is you're trying to buy something that's worth more than what the perceived value is. And Warren has done a fantastic job of this in his lifetime, which is almost 90 years. And he did start investing actually almost 90 years ago. Literally, I think he bought his first stock at 7 or 8 years old. I mean, I've heard the stories. I don't remember them. Okay, sorry, Warren, my memory is not the way it used to be. But Warren Buffett dumps the airlines. And, we had a lot of people, and we have some questions, by the way. And I want to give kudos to somebody, too, and remind me of that, Nikki, in case I don't give kudos. Because, again, I'll be 56 years old this month, yes, and physically, yes, I feel older than that. Mentally, younger, but short-term memory. Anyway, so Warren Buffett is such a value guy, but he got rid of his exposure in airlines. We were getting a lot of phone calls when all this was going on, and the travel bans, and the shutdown, and OIA here, traffic down 95%. 95%. Think about that. 95% down in business. I mean, I look at things like, and we'll talk about Disney, who reported earnings last night, not tonight. But we were getting asked questions. Hey, should we buy Delta? Should I buy Allegiant? Should we buy JetBlue? Should we buy United? Look, but in all fairness, it's like gold. I've never really been a gold bug. I did buy some recently and I just sold it. But I've never been an airline buyer. So when they were in the crapper before, didn't own them, so I had no skin in the game. When they made the big move, didn't own them, had no skin in the game. I probably should have. But, it's just one of those reasons, one of those industries that I'm not crazy about, because you have a lot of outside forces that can, like this, an outside force, no matter how well that airline was run, coronavirus crushed them and could put some of this bankruptcy. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't go out and tell people when they were calling me, hey, can I buy Delta? Should I buy this? I said, listen, if you want to, that's okay. You can speculate. I'm not telling, and far be it for me to tell anybody not to speculate, all right? I speculate on my own behalf all the time, but it's my money. I can speculate because I know that if I lose it, I got more money behind it. I'm okay with that. what I caution people is that you don't put your savings, all you have, in airline stocks. Okay, so I wasn't crazy about airlines. I never have been, but now I really wasn't crazy because I don't know, and I'm not a good enough airlines analyst to tell you which ones are going to make it. I know their balance sheets are disasters. Their cash flows are zero. Their airplanes are shit. I mean, Delta has airplanes that are 20 years old and more. I mean, their average, it's crazy. Now, that hurts Boeing, Airbus. So, anyway, Mr. Buffett got rid of all his airlines. And that, to me, is a sign. The guy's good. The guy's great. He's one of the greatest of all time. So, he's the GOAT. All right? The GOAT, folks. So, and you know what? Airlines rebounded a little bit from the lows, of course. And I also said that you can make money. I think you can make money in airlines, but it's speculative dollars, and I'm not willing to speculate like that with client dollars. And I didn't do it for myself either. So, that's it. Let's talk about, Elon Musk. There's always some great news going on with Elon Musk. And first of all, I like Elon Musk. I like Elon Musk having, Elon Musk is a funny guy. He does some really funny things. And it's like when my father-in-law stays in my house, funny stuff happens. I mean, it's enjoyable. It really is enjoyable. And I do enjoy when my father-in-law is there. But it's funny shit. But, so Elon Musk. But here's what I think about Elon Musk. Hey, he calls a spade a spade. It's what it is. This guy, he smoked weed on an internet show, which is okay, I guess. He lives in California. I mean, it's legal. It's okay. I'm drinking on my show. And by the way, today's Crown, regular Crown, okay, didn't go to the store and get the Crown XO, or more importantly, the Crown XR, which is better. So Stevie Q, I'm sorry. I know that now you're disappointed in me. But, so Elon Musk, he comes out last week and says, I think Tesla stock is too high. What? This guy, he's brilliant, but he's got a screw loose. And there's that fine line between brilliance and lunacy. So he says the stock was too high. The stock lost $14 billion in market cap after he said it. Now, since then, it's rallied back up. But it's just crazy. And this guy makes bonuses. He makes bonuses if the stock, he just got a bonus. The stock stayed at average at $700 and I think it was $60 a share for a period of 6 months or whatever. He got a bonus. And he's got another level. If it goes for $800 a share and change, again, I'm speculating. I don't know the numbers, but I did see this. I didn't think it was newsworthy, so I didn't care because I don't own Tesla. And for those of you who do, good for you. I'm happy for you. I always want people to make money. But I did see that he's selling his house. He's got 2 houses for sale in the Bel Air area. Here's interesting. He bought Gene Wilder's house, Frankenstein, and he's selling it 2,756 square feet. So I do the math like I normally do the math. My house is more than 50% larger. Okay? He's selling the Gene Wilder estate for $9.5 million. It's on the Bel Air Country Club, and it's got a pool. That's nice. I think it's 5 bedroom, 5 bath. Okay, nice. 9.5. The other one he's selling for $30 million. 30. Okay, so before I go into, because I do want to talk about some of those other scary industries that you guys out there want to ask questions about, I do want to give kudos out to somebody who she asked me a question about Peloton. Her name was Melissa. I think Billy Denby wrote a song, Girl Next Door, and her name Melissa. If you haven't listened to Billy Denby's music, check it out on Apple Music or on Spotify. Okay, Peloton. What a great idea. Melissa emailed me, I think it was earlier this week, and it's, had been looking at Peloton thinking, it's an interesting opportunity because, think about it, it's one of that stay-at-home stock where you weren't going out, but here's what I look at. The governor was talking phase 1 potentially have gyms to open up. Hey, for those of you that are gym owners and gym rats, I hope that you guys do great and you continue to chalk up those fees and people don't go. Love that. It's a great model. Love it. Me personally, and I'm not afraid. Me, I'm going to go to restaurants. I'll go to concerts. I don't care. I'm a little leery about going to the gym, and here's why. Because you can have the Rona and sit there and do your little pec decking, and then even though I take my towel, because that fat guy didn't take the towel off, I'm sorry, didn't mean it. The large person didn't towel off his sweat. Doesn't matter. There's no Clorox wipes, for Christ's sake. Okay, I'll do that. Thanks, Nick. So my point is, how are they going to do that? How are they going to keep it sanitize, made in USA? That's for Appliance Direct, by the way. God, the guy kills me. It was like 10 commercials a day. I see 5 a day. I see 5. It's probably 10 more on CNBC. Selling appliances. Fantastic. So, Peloton, thinking that, the gym, I think, and me who's not afraid, there are a lot of people that are afraid. Okay? Are they going to go back to gyms? Are you going to go back to see somebody schmegma on your machine? I probably am not going to do it for a little while until they figure out what they're doing. So, Peloton looks really interesting. So, I'm going to show you a chart on Peloton. Let's go to the charts, folks. Okay. First of all, Peloton was a relatively new issue. It's, in that era of the unicorns. A lot of these public offerings came out, started out with Uber and Lyft and Beyond Meats, which we're going to talk about. I said meats. And one of these, Peloton. All right. This is it's not as long of a chart because it just went public in late September. But the stock rallied and it went public around that 20 and change level. Okay, it was a fairly received offering. Did fairly well. But here's what I was looking at. Okay, I want to look at a different chart. First of all, hold on, because I don't like the view of this one. Let me find the view. Okay. Not the TV show, the other one. Let's go. Okay. This is a chart. This is a better chart of Peloton. It's just easier to see. So, the formation that I see here. Now, fundamentals on Peloton are still not great, but they're getting better. The revenues have been unbelievable growth. And just reported today, and when you look at it, let me take a look here, the numbers. Their revenue forecasts, they're expecting $1.72 to $1.74 billion in revenue for the fiscal full year, and that's up from 1.53 to 1.55. So that's tremendous. They were, before today's report, expecting 920 to 930,000 subscribers to their service. Because once you buy the bike that costs you $2,200, you got to subscribe for $50 a month or $40 a month, what it costs. But they're expecting 1.04 to 1.05. So fundamentals, they're losing money, expected, but unbelievably growth in sales. Unbelievable. It's just incredible. So what we see here, this chart pattern, and this is March 23rd, roughly. Let's see here. No, I want this. Okay. March 23rd, market tanks, but this, what you see, is technically called a reverse head and shoulders. So, okay, I'm going to explain to you what a reverse head and shoulders. And again, okay, that's me. That's my bad. Hit the wrong button. Okay. I'm an expert in technical analysis. Okay. Here's my head, and here's my shoulders. Okay. Look at that pattern. Just the outline of it. Okay. The outline. Now, I'm going to flash back and show you, because the head and shoulders, there's the reverse head and shoulders is a bottoming process. I remember I told you that markets bottom. They don't hit lows and go straight up. There's bottoming process. So it's a bottoming process. So this is the left shoulder, followed by the head. So it's me being upside down. The right shoulder. Now this is a neckline, and volume punched it right through there. You had above average daily volume, punch it to $38. Then it sells off. And this is where I wanted to buy it, right in this area, about the 30, 31 level. And Melissa brought it to my attention. And I said, Melissa, I like the stock. I don't know if she bought it, and I should have bought it. I meant to buy it, but I had paralysis by analysis because I'm an idiot, and I should have bought it. I am a moron. It was telling me to buy, and I didn't. I don't get them all, and sometimes I get them wrong. This one, I didn't get, and I got it wrong. So my fault. Doesn't mean it's not going to give me a chance again. But after hours, now it closed today at 38.03. So let's see what Peloton's doing after hours. Let me see here. Hold on a second. Okay. I don't know if you can see this where my cursor is. It's trading in the 41s after hours. So thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, not happy about that one. However, I can redeem myself a little bit. And by the way, folks, I want to tell you that when I mention stocks on here, they are not recommendations. And yeah, why do I keep hitting the wrong button? Jesus. All right, I can't see that well. They're not recommendations. I can't recommend anything to you guys without knowing more about you. If I was on TV, you're probably thinking, I watch CNBC all the time. These guys always say, I would buy this today and pound the table buy. Well, when they do that, it's because they're not licensed. They don't manage other people's money. They write books. They do research. They do whatever. They no longer have their license. Jim Cramer, whom I think is awesome. I love the guy. He was on my radio show years ago. He could say all he wants because he's not licensed, or at least he's not active. He's not managing money. He manages his own trust. So you can say anything you want when you're not licensed. I have to tell you that anything I say here may or may not be suitable for you. I would check with a financial advisor. This is the Blake Shelton. I know one. I know a bunch. I've got 4 other ones in my office, all really good. So, again, make sure everything's appropriate for you. I'm going to mention things. I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy them because I may have bought them already. And in this case, I took a little, and I should have taken a bigger position in it. I took a small position in something, a little something called Beyond Meats. Only if I believed in it as a product, I would have probably backed up the truck, beep, 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 and loaded up. And I just saw it on CNBC on Cramer's show. BYND, ticker symbol. Don't buy it now. I wouldn't. And let me just tell you, I bought a little bit. And you see the ticker down here, by the way. I have questions coming in. And here's the phone number to call. Or you can email Nikki at stockdr.com for your questions. But Beyond Meats is the plant-based meats. And I'm sorry, not into it. Don't think I can eat that crap. But I know people will. And there's a meat shortage. So Beyond Meats came out today, and their earnings were pretty good. They still lost money, but they did exceed expectations on their earnings and revenue. They beat revenue by 141%. I mean, I'm sorry, they increased their revenue 141%. Small company, $97 million for the quarter versus $86.88 they're supposed to do. But I will tell you, again, the chart on Beyond Meats is interesting because you had a bottoming pattern, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. And there's some names to these things, so bear with me. Okay, this is a chart on Beyond Meats. Closed today at 126. It was up $23. So this is a bottom, folks. This is March 23rd. You had the bottom here. All right. I used to call that the Jennifer Lopez rounded bottom. I patented that phrase and I have a trademark on it. Okay? No one can use that. The J-Lo rounded bottom with a handle. So that's the cup. See the cup? With a handle. And the volume down here was like the cup. It was absolutely freaking textbook. And because, and there's a handle, and then the big volume spike kicked it through, the stock is, I bought some. This is fact. I would never lie to you anyway, so I'm just telling you fact. Around 92 earlier this week. 92 earlier this week. Closed today at 126. I know. It's a risky stock. I can't buy that for everybody. It's just not appropriate. I bought it for the people that could take risk. And yes, clients are going to say, well, I could have taken the risk. Sure. Now you can take the risk. It's up 30%. If it was down 30%, well, I didn't want that kind of risk. And it's trading here after hours 128. So, I mean, whatever. It's one of those things, But I got a little piece of that action. So let's go into, let's talk about the cruise lines. And I'm going to be wrapping things up here in a little bit. If you have any questions, please call me. But I know what people want to talk about because they've been asking about Carnival. And David asked about Royal Caribbean. And I said my standard answer is that I don't, same like the airlines, I don't know who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. Carnival went out and got some financing. They're trying to survive with zero revenue, okay? Think about folks out there, I don't even know who's listening to the call, but folks out there who have their own business. If you have your own business and you have zero revenue, how long can you last? That's Carnival. That's Royal Caribbean. Zero. Just like, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but Disney's not zero. But you know what? For the most part, there's a big freaking goose egg on the board. And, all right, I'm going to get to Disney in a second. Sorry. Norwegian, ticker symbol, NCLH, trades on the NASDAQ. Stock's been an abomination. Thank you for the email. Stock's been an abomination. They of the three, and I'm not a cruiser, so I have to take the opinion of other people. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, I know Carnival has Princess and all these other things, but in Norwegian. Of those three, and there's others out there, but of these three, the main ones that trade publicly, I've been told from the cruisers that Norwegian is probably the best one. So Norwegian is the most levered of those three. They have the most debt. So they are at the most risk. When you have, think about your household. Unfortunately, there are probably some people out there that are listening to this and will listen to it because this is on Facebook, it's recorded, and you can share it, which I encourage you to share it. Thank you very much. There are people out there who lost their jobs. It's like, holy Jesus, I have nothing coming in, but I got bills coming in. Same thing with Norwegian. They got bills. So what they did, they need to raise $2 billion. Listen to this. They did a bond offering. They raised, what was it now? It was $600 million. Yeah, they raised $600 million in a bond offering that matures in 4 years. 4-year bond. What do you suppose they're paying you for interest? Now, here's what a bond is. Just refresh, because I try to teach. When you buy a bond, folks, you are lending a municipality, some kind of government, a corporation, a person, money. They agree to pay you an interest rate with a maturity date. That maturity date is when they're supposed to pay you your principal back. So you get interest on your money, and at the end of the term, you get your principal back. Guess what? Norwegian is paying 12%. 12% on this bond. You're thinking to myself, wow, a 4-year note for 12%. Now, again, somebody who knows the business like me, there are no 12% bonds out there. You know why? Because there's risk. That if Norwegian doesn't make it, guess what? Your bondholders are toast. Stockholders, even worse. You're the lowest on the totem pole. Bonds are above you as far as the capital stack. So I was really surprised to see that. I mean, it was blown away. 12%, which tells me they had to make it that high for people to give them money. It's like saying, okay, you may or may not make it. Maybe I'll collect interest for 4 years. So crazy, crazy stuff. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. So Norwegian raised another $400 billion from private equity. They need $1 more billion to survive, and that's going to be a freaking issue. All right, I had a bunch of questions tonight. I'm not going to name the names who asked them. A bunch. I talked about Disney briefly last week. They reported earnings yesterday. Earnings, as expected, they were lower. All right, they were lower than expected. I mean, think about this. They had basically, they had a significant profit plunge. What happens? But, I was talking to Justin in my office earlier, and think about this. Disney was off significantly, and they really, for the most part, the parks got shut down halfway through March. They missed 2 weeks. But here's what they're missing. Theme parks. They're not able to film movies right now. Everything's shut down. Okay, has anybody watched a sport lately? ESPN. I haven't watched ESPN except for The Last Dance, the story of the Chicago Bulls. I'm watching that on ESPN. But why would we go to ESPN? There's no sports. When I was at Cafe Murano today, the manager there, Trent, said, I'm looking forward to NASCAR, and I don't watch NASCAR. That's how bad things are. So earnings are at 60 cents a share, expected 89. Revenues were up, believe it or not, still 21%. 18 billion was 14.9 billion. Parks, movies, sports, all in the crapper. What's working is 54 million people have signed up for Disney Plus, so that's all good stuff. All right, so that's good. That's going to be something they can build on, and we'll see what happens when people start not staying at home so much, and who's going to win that battle. Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. I mean, everybody's in that pool swimming now. So before I wrap things up, let's talk about, I was mentioning sports. What does America 2.0 look like? I don't know. It's kind of a rhetorical question, unless you decide you want to email me right now, because we're leaving soon. I had, again, if you have any more questions on Disney, folks, I had a bunch. I will get you. All right, I will get with you next week, but I think I answered most of them. We know that when Disney comes back, will the stock do okay? You know what I'll do is I will show you the chart of the stock, because I like the stock actually, and we've owned some. And let me get to that screen here. All right, I think anything around this $100 level. Look, had the big drop. This was about $150. This is about 88. What was that? I'm sorry, I can't see. It's 88. Okay, 80. Oh, the low on that is 79 that day. March 23rd low. March 23rd low. Okay. Now it's around 100. 101 is trading there. Look, they employ 43,000 people here in Central Florida, so I have to be a fan, and I do like the stock. I think that buying it this cheap, some semblance down the year, you're going to make some money on it. So that's why I'm not that concerned. And if you own the stock, which I know a lot of people in Central Florida do, I wouldn't sell it. You didn't buy Disney to trade it. I venture to say that most people buy Disney as an investment. Okay, they are not sitting there saying, I'm going to buy Disney for a couple points and trade it out. No, that's not what you bought it for. That's not what I buy for. And I'm kind of the average guy. I know what you guys are thinking. I think the same way. Beyond Meats, Peloton, that's a trade. Do I think Peloton's going to be around in 5 years? No, there's going to be something bigger, better, brighter. Beyond Meats, maybe we'll eat dirt. I don't know. Justin says, maybe his kids will start eating dirt if clients complain about fees or something. I don't know. Our clients don't complain, though. And by the way, I use this as a medium to get to my clients, talk to them. So I really appreciate it. I have a lot of viewers. And by the way, I want to thank everybody for viewing and watching this, because it's real. We're reaching thousands. I'm saying thousands. Each of these episodes reaching thousands of people. So I really appreciate you guys participating, joining, sharing. The comments are great. And I do this to be informative, to educate. And if I can help somebody, that would be great. And if I can help you on your own and to not make a big mistake and cost you money, I'm happy for that. You know what it is? It's 30 minutes out of my week. I really couldn't care less about that. I'm more concerned about helping people. So, that being said, Florida, we're some semblance of opened for business. What's going to happen? Well, we talked about sports. The Miami Dolphins have their plan. They're going to sit 15,000 people in. All right, I'm sorry. For those of you that are long-term Dolphin fans, Joe Robbie Stadium. I can't stop calling it Joe Robbie Stadium. It's Joe Robbie Stadium, as far as I'm concerned, because I'm a Dolphin fan. 15,000 people. First of all, that's not a home field advantage. How much sound can 15,000 people make in that bowl? And the tickets are going to be outrageous. It seats 70,000. So, you 70,000 people fight over those 15,000. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I think it's a little bit ridiculous. I say, and I continue to say, I'm not an epidemiologist. I don't know what's going to happen with coronavirus. I think that the fact that hospitals, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going to say fact. I'm not going to say fact because I don't know this for fact. Supposedly, hospitals get paid more to diagnose somebody's corona. If that's the case, that's really not a good idea. And if you a ventilator, you get more money. Look, there's stories out there, and I tried to verify. I have not been able to. Maybe you can and let me know. That would be helpful. But supposedly, if somebody gets diagnosed corona, hospital gets 13 grand, I think, from Medicare. If they get on a ventilator, 39 grand. Okay, that's what I see and I've read. I've called my docs. I have a lot of doctor clients. They believe that is true, but they can't verify either because they're on the outskirts. They're not in the administration part. But I want to also, it is the end of teachers and nurses, believe it or not, Teachers and Nurses Appreciation Week. So all you makeshift schools out there teaching from distance learning, oh my God, we're coming up with a term for everything now. I'm so tired of this shit. This is not for you. This is for the real teachers in the trenches that bust their tails for, I'm sorry, I wish the state could pay you more. You guys deserve it. Nurses, you guys are awesome. You really are. And you deserve what you get paid and more. All you guys. And first responders, I'm a son of a cop. I know you don't get paid much. And you know what? You guys deserve more. And you do this for a living because you enjoy it. Unfortunately, you're not doing it for the money for the most part. But I know nurses, you can make some good money. And nurse anesthetists, they make like, I don't know, 150 grand a year, something like that. But it's great. So anyway, I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody joining me. Thank you. My podcast will come out tomorrow sometime. It's the Stock Doctor's Prescription. We are on Apple. We are on Spotify, among other. I really appreciate you guys tonight. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.